Howdy, I'm Grey Pilgrim. Well, it's time for a slight shaggy dog story. I've been gone for a couple of days. Oh gosh, this is all whacked, isn't it? What's going to have to do? Anyway, about a month ago, actually, I was cooking up a steak for dinner, and it said on the package, boneless. So I believed it, and I fried up a steak and munched down on it and cracked a molar. I mean, I completely cracked the molar in half. And part of it fell out, and the rest of it was still in there, and it was really sharp and it hurt. So I called a dentist, and they gave me an appointment a month later. So I went in Friday for that appointment, and she said, well, the best we can do with it at your age is just pull it. So I said, pull it. So they pulled my tooth. Pulling a tooth hurts. I mean, it hurts. And I still got a hole there. I've got some packing stuff in it at the moment to make it so it doesn't, what's it called? Dry socket is what I'm worried about. They told me about this. You know, so it's the latest heebie-jeebies. I think it's related to bird flu. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about today is this. Oh, take a look down here. This is a recent purchase that I got. This is a 1853 Enfield. Well, it's not really. No, this is an Italian reproduction. Didn't realize that when I got it, but oh, let me just do this. This setup is kind of wonky, so let's just do that. But it is almost an 1853 Enfield. One thing I did notice is it has this side sort of thingy for the cap here. That's wrong. It ought to be right here in the middle. This was what the Springfield did with this kind of setup. So they probably had the jigs for putting a Springfield one together, and they just reused it for this thing. But other than that, everything else on it looks to be correct. You know, three rings, and you know, this kind of sight, and this kind of trigger, and this kind of side plate. But I looked, I found, I forget where, this is serial number and the proof marks over here. And I forgot where I found it, but I found the import mark on the thing too. But by the proof mark, it's either 1944 or 1964, because they reused that date code. But the 1944 was during the reign of Mussolini, so I really doubt it. So it's probably 1964, because I know they were not making black powder replicas during World War II. Anyway, it's an interesting rifle. I already have a for real Springfield, so yeah, it would work. Let me see if I can do this. I'll just put it here. Yeah, I just don't want to snap the hammer down on an empty nipple. But you know, it's got the right kind of ramrod on it, and all the rest of it's okay. It does not have. It ought to have a cap for the nipple on a chain that hangs down here. That was standard. By the way, the 1853 was an interesting rifle. Civil War had just started, and buyers from both the Confederate and Union armies were over in Europe looking for any arms they could get their hands on. Well, Britain had just ended the war in Crimea, and they had millions of these 1853s left over from that war. So the guys went over and said, okay, we'll take them. We'll take all you got. And they just shipped bushel loads of these things off to the Americas on both sides. And they're 58 caliber, but it's just a slight bit different than the Springfield's 58 caliber. So the ones that they were shipping with the Springfields didn't quite work in these ones. They weren't very accurate, so they had to make them for this one. But then it became a logistic nightmare, and it became quite an ordeal back then. Problem is, Springfield wasn't making rifles that many rifles, as many as they need. And the Confederacy wasn't making any at all. They were just relying on what they had around. Oh, let me get this up a little bit, just a little bit. There. That's better. So it became a bit of an ordeal, like I said. This one is, I guess, built for a reenactor. And I picked it up relatively cheap recently. I saw that the guy also has a carbine version of it. And I'll buy that soon, but not today. Not today. Anyway, you know, I'll be doing more videos as I start feeling better. I'm not feeling great right now because it still hurts like a son of a gun. But, well, you know, better living through modern chemistry? Well, we'll see. Anyway, 1853 Enfield. It's kind of neat. I think it's kind of neat. What do you think? Happy trails.